the most creative smartphone ever designed? I think the answer is now just easy. The special limited Pac-Man edition. Let's inspect.
Hey, really good to meet you. My name is Michael and welcome back to the channel where we inspect traditionally cool tech. And honestly, I didn't think there's going to be a good chance to wear this t-shirt again, which I got a few years ago in one special event where actually OnePlus have kicked off this series of collaborations with interesting brands and some special limited editions for some of their smartphones. And that one in particular was like a dream come true to me because as a huge Formula One fan, well, I had the chance to visit the McLaren factory. I had the chance to get to know this guy who I very much hope to see as a world champion sooner or later. That's Lando Norris. And also, dive into the world of mobile technologies and F1 altogether. Now, fast forward to 2021, it's really great that OnePlus are keeping this amazing tradition because now, on a totally different subject, we have this, and that's the special limited Pac-Man edition of the OnePlus Nord 2. That's a smartphone I pretty much fell in love during the summer when I was testing the camera. And there have been a few very tiny things which made me not entirely switch to it. And probably before I go any further, a disclaimer, I still consider myself to be a OnePlus fanboy because I've been using a OnePlus device as a daily driver ever since OnePlus One was released, with the exception of the last few months when I switched to Mi 11 Ultra because of the really great camera stack. But I don't think that's gonna be a problem because I still can be very accurate and unbiased about all the features. And in this particular episode, I would like to tell you everything about the hardware, the software, and the special Pac-Man edition flavor. And if you already know well the OnePlus Nord 2, probably you could fast forward by 3 minutes. Although there's absolutely no way you not to like the unboxing because it contains really most of the excitement around this Pac-Man edition. As you notice, OnePlus continue to be kings of the awesome packages. I will never forget the way OnePlus One has arrived. Now, focusing on the Pac-Man signature, the whole box is wrapped with this special Pac-Man cardboard, but unlike what many brands do, to stamp something and just forget about the rest, here the Pac-Man elements are everywhere, even in the DNA of the phone itself, and we'll get to this point in just a few moments. The whole idea of the unboxing is to integrate elements of the game. By the way, did you know that the name of this game originally was with a U, Pac-Man, but the creators were too concerned that, especially in the States and the English-speaking countries, many people would replace the P letter with the F letter, which is going to change the meaning of this and provoke you to do a lot of jokes, so they kind of decided to stay away from this upgrade and decided to call it Pac-Man. I quite enjoyed seeing this card with info about the team members. Feels cozy and a nice attempt by OnePlus to be closer to their supporters and community. I'll keep the tension high, first taking out the charger. 65-watt warp charger, takes around 30 minutes to charge the battery to full. Insane and equally good to the OnePlus 9. And here it is, in its full glory and beauty, OnePlus Nord 2, the Pac-Man edition. As usual for OnePlus phones, it has a pre-applied screen protector, amazing color on the back, well known for awesomeness and good performance display on the front, the company's signature alert slider on the side, USB port, speaker set, and the SIM tray at the bottom area. Sometimes words cannot describe the amazing feeling of holding something like this. Therefore, let me show you what happens if we switch off the lights. This is indeed the back of the smartphone, and you're right, it's glowing. This special Pac-Man signature, and you can here distinguish the Nord logo engraved. And it's fantastic because every time at night, you might have your smartphone looking in a very unique and special way. If you belong to the group of people that we can summarize as tech geeks, just like me, maybe it's your moment to listen carefully. Dimensity 1200 with one of the fastest octa-core CPUs on the market, with frequency of up to 3 GHz, 12 gigs of DDR4 memory, 256 GB storage, a lovely 90 Hz display with size of 6.43 inches, AMOLED of course. The triple camera setup is led by a 50 megapixel Sony IMX766 model,
There's ultra-wide sensor and depth sensors. Battery with the 65-watt WAP charging technology and its 4500 mAh capacity, 5G support, the latest Bluetooth and Wi-Fi standards, NFC, in-display fingerprint sensor, face unlock and focus on security features, and so many others.
Think of it as a smartphone with flagship killer ambitions at the price which right now in 2021 is considered to be a mid-ranger price, so a few years ago that was a totally different topic. Now, on the other hand, we do have some of the features which are slightly downgrade from the OnePlus 9 series. For instance, we have DDR4X instead of DDR5. We don't have wireless charging, but OnePlus do give us the 65-watt WAP charger inside with a 65-watt WAP charging, which is amazing, and they still continue to lead the competition about fast charging technologies. And, of course, the phenomenal performance coming out of the Dimensity 1200, which was not considered to be this year's top flagship SoC, but from what I see, well, it's impressive. If you're on the hunt for buying a true flagship this year, maybe I can take a few minutes of your time and show you that something like the Nord 2 and especially the Pac-Man edition might be all that you actually need.
First of all, the performance, it's unprecedented. Animations are tuned to perfection. Pleasure to watch these animated wallpapers, playing games or doing anything, really anything on this phone is great. Super smooth, and I was quite jealous that it's a lot snappier than Mi 11 Ultra, which I've been using for the past 7 months. The more amazing part is that even if I lower the animation speed, and this is when things become really challenging for the UI, the performance remains stellar, rock solid. If you wonder whether stressing the CPU for a long time will reduce the performance, well, not really. Not more than what would happen to Snapdragon 888, and the performance is a lot more consistent than what you would experience with Exynos chipsets. The fact that you don't see any drops on this graph means that you will not notice notable performance degradation if you play games for longer, and this is exactly the sweet spot that each smartphone maker is targeting. 12 gigs of RAM are a pleasure to work with, and the 256GB storage kind of makes integrating a micro SD slot meaningless. The good performance also contributes to the excellent camera behavior and guarantees amazingly good photos and videos. Colors seem to be accurate most of the time. Sharpness is not that much, unlike what we see with other OnePlus phones, and that's a good thing because photos are not over-sharpened. In daytime, the situation is great, the optical image stabilization is a fantastic addition to the performance, and especially if you use the 5x zoom, which is software-based, it can help a lot to prevent the images from falling apart. I invite you to check the in-depth review that I have on the Nord 2's camera when it's put up against the Redmi Note 10 Pro. You may count on good photos from the ultra-wide camera as well. It will of course not challenge the best cameras of the year, like the one on Mi 11 Ultra, especially when you shoot at dark. Here's a proof. The much bigger image sensor inside the Xiaomi device has a lot more details in some areas. For example, you may notice texture here and here. And the sky, it looks a lot different on the horizon border. But throughout the testing time, I was able to take some pretty good snaps, and this clearly is very decent camera setup, which will perform well in both daytime and nighttime. Since the release of Nord 2 back in the summer, there have been a number of enhancements related to the camera performance. As for the battery life, decent. The operating system is rather lightweight, and I'm becoming a fan of Dimensity 1200's consistency. It was easily giving me more than a day with a lot of screen-on time. After the merge with ColorOS, the skin that is being used by Realme, and as you know, OnePlus and Realme both belong to BBK Electronics, there are certain software similarities between both product lines. Some of you are going to like them, some of you probably won't. While I'm a big fan of the menus and the customizations, I dislike the fact that there is no graph about the battery consumption. You only get details about the per-app consumption. Anyhow, the focus is on Pac-Man. The game is here, and it's so fun to play. The animations, the icons, the photo stickers, the sounds, the launcher, even the wallpapers, you will definitely have a lot of fun with it. And get to know about the magic around this particular game. The more I use it, the more I like the phone. Perhaps this will be my daily driver for quite some time, so let's see where it's all gonna go. Kudos to OnePlus for optimizing the operating system that well and creating a unique kind of mid-ranger with some flagship-grade flavor.
Last year, when the Nord One appeared, I really thought these series are kind of doomed and they wouldn't be quite a success, but now when I use Nord 2 for quite some time, I'm convinced that this product line has a future, and it's very interesting what happens in the mid-range segment of smartphones this year. And it's true, it's not an entirely true flagship, because there are certain features which are kind of a big difference between both. For instance, inside here we don't have 4K, 60 frames per second recording on video, no DDR5, no 120Hz display, no macro camera, not that great optical image stabilization, no wireless charging, some small things to be improved on the software side as well. But this smartphone really makes me think whether paying twice the money, which you would give for such a thing, for a true flagship is really worth, because let's be really honest, how many of the features that I just mentioned do you really use on a frequent basis? And hey, that's been everything about today's episode, and I truly hope that everything shown in the past few minutes has helped you to make the right buying decision, or at least to get to know better the OnePlus Nord 2, precisely the Pac-Man edition. And it's been quite fun playing the games, looking into the wallpapers, this fantastic customization, which provokes me to ask you something, and I'm quite curious to find out, are you into buying such a limited edition smartphone so that you stand out? Or you prefer to stick to the more traditional, non-limited edition smartphones? So tell me everything you have to say in the comment section below the video. And by the way, OnePlus have launched a micro website about the Nord 2 Pac-Man edition. You can find some more info about it, some games. It's holiday season coming up, so there's going to be some great discounts, and more information about this is posted in the description below this video. Also, most of the samples of the videos and the photos I've captured for you, you can find them in their original format over there as well. And that's been it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end and supporting the channel in any form and way you want and like. Much appreciated, and hope to see you guys and girls very, very soon. Take good care of yourself. I'm Michael. Wish you a fantastic day. Bye.